All right, welcome to the kitchen. I want to go over something that I think should be in every weightlifter's diet, and that is a stew, simple beef stew. One of the great things about stew is that you don't have to use any special kind of meat. Okay, a lot of weightlifters are trying to save money on food, and anything that you can chop up into little bite sizes is going to be great in a stew. Because it's going to cook for 8 to 10 hours, and so it doesn't have to be A1 choice meat. It can be pretty much anything. So you can go to the grocery store, find what's on sale, whatever's cheapest or the best deal, chop it up and use it for stew meat. This is actually meat that is chopped up, pre-chopped up stew meat. But if I find something on sale at Harris Teeter or Costco or something that's really cheap, you can use anything for stew meat. It all tastes the same. First thing you want to do is take about 2 pounds chopped up, maybe 1 inch by 1 inch squares, something like that. Simply dump it in your crock pot. Simple as that, nothing else. This is a very simple stew. Tastes great, takes about 3 minutes to make in reality. So after you've got your stew, grab some carrots. These obviously are the lazy way to do carrots. They're already skinned or peeled, chopped up baby carrots. You don't have to do anything with them except for pour them out of the bag. If you want, sure, you can buy whole big carrots and peel them and chop them yourself. I'm lazy, so I just go for the baby carrots. Carrots aren't that expensive anyway. It really doesn't matter which kind you buy. Pour them in. And that's about right. You're just pouring them in, just enough of them to, cover the meat. You don't have to measure anything. The next thing that we're going to put in is the potatoes. And really, that's all you need. Carrots, meat, and potatoes. Sure, sometimes I'll put in a little celery. Sometimes I'll put in some little small onions or something like that. But you really don't need to. That's the beautiful thing about stew. You don't have to make it the same every time. And as long as you got your meat, your carrots, and your potatoes, everything else is optional. So I'm going to take some potatoes here and throw some of those in. So you can get them to actually come out of the bag here. There we go. That's plenty right there. There you go. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our seasoning in. I have a few things that I like to put in, and I'm just gonna put in the basics today. You can certainly experiment around with different things. I mean, there's way more than one way to flavor a stew. And I'll tell you one other thing I like to do is I don't measure anything. How boring would it be if every time you make stew, it comes out exactly the same? Nobody wants that. It should always be a little bit of a surprise how it actually tastes. It's going to taste a little different every time. First thing I like to put in some soy sauce. No, it's not going to taste like soy sauce. You won't be able to tell there's soy sauce in it, but it does give it a little bit of flavor. Here's how I put it in. I don't measure it, just do like this. There you go. There's soy sauce. Another thing you absolutely have to have in stew is Louisiana sauce. In reality, you can use just about any hot sauce. There's several other ones that are okay, but Louisiana is undeniably the world's best hot sauce, so I'm going to go with Louisiana. There you go. And no, the stew is not going to taste hot. Okay, that's not enough to make it. It's just enough to give it flavor. If you actually like it hot, then once you get a bowl of stew after it's done cooking, then you can put more just in your bowl and make it hot. Some people don't like really hot stew, so we're not going to put enough in to make it really hot. Next thing I like is some bay leaves. Okay, again, this is just something that gives it a better flavor. It's not going to make a bad stew if you don't put these in. So if you don't have bay leaves, by all means, don't not make your stew because you don't have the bay leaves. But I'll just stick a couple in there like that. I usually space them around in the pot. Everybody needs salt and pepper. Everything's always better with salt and pepper. There's your pepper. Here's your salt. I usually measure this with my fingers. I'll just put a couple of pinches in. There you go. Now, one of the things that I think really makes a great stew is this. It's called Better Than Bouillon, and I get it at Costco. It's just kind of a replacement for bouillon cubes. Now, I'm sure you can actually use beef stock. Obviously, bouillon cubes works too. I've made a lot of stews with bouillon cubes. I think this stuff tastes better, so that's what I use. Don't be shy about using a lot. It's a great big spoonful I'm going to stick in there. As you can see, it's just a paste. It's like a black paste. Something else that I like is, and that's beef stock. That Better Than Bouillon was beef stock. I also have Better Than Bouillon vegetable base. Okay. I've not made a lot of stews with this in it. It gives it a slightly different taste, a little bit more of a kick, kind of a vegetable-y taste. And I am just going to take a much smaller amount of that and stick it in there also. There you go. A lot of beef, a little bit of vegetable. That should be great. Next thing we need is simply a few glasses of water. Pour that in. Might take more than one glass here. One more glass will probably do it. There we go. After that, the only thing you have left to do is put the lid on it and cook it. I'm not quite sure how long that took, but I'm estimating usually 5 or 10 minutes to throw the stuff in the crock pot. You set your crock pot for 8 to 10 hours, probably a little bit depending on what crock pot you have. And 8-10 hours later, you got a hell of a stew. The good thing about this is you can do this at night before you go to bed. It'll be ready the next morning. You can do it in the morning and it's ready for supper. And you don't have to prepare it and then eat it all at once. You can leave it in a crock pot. My particular crock pot automatically, once it's run through the cooking cycle for as long as I want it to cook, I program that in, it automatically switches to warm. So you can leave that in there for a day or two and just continue to grab a bowl whenever you're hungry and have a bowl of stew with no preparation whatsoever. Now, as I said, I don't measure anything. I just splash it in there. If it's not exactly to your liking, then when you get a bowl of stew and you taste it and you think, that needs a little more beef flavor, or that needs more hot sauce, or a little more salt, well, you can just add a little bit to your bowl and season it to exactly how you want. And I will say this, that's some damn good stew. That makes probably about the best stew that I've ever had. It's so simple to make, very easy. Shop the sales, get your meat on sale, and it's very cheap also, absolutely, very cheap. Thank you very much for watching.